They came for work, for survival, but the forest held its own secrets, and not even hope could silence the whispers beneath the pines. In the summer of 1832, 57 Irishmen, sons of Donegal, Tyrone, and Derry, followed the promise of steady wages to a remote stretch of the Philadelphia and Columbia Railroad. They disembarked on Philadelphia's docks under a slate sky, their ragged coats and threadbare blankets heavy with memories of famine and the long crossing. With lanterns and wheelbarrows, they wound through dense woods to a narrow cleft in the bedrock, the cut, where foreman Philip Duffy awaited them. The men pitched canvas tents among ferns and chestnuts, each flap a fragile barrier against the damp wilderness. They hacked at rock with iron pickaxes, boots sinking in knee-deep mud, each swing a battle against hunger and prejudice. Contractors sneered at their Catholic prayers and called them expendable. Pay was late, rations were thin, and the ever-present mire seemed determined to swallow both men and machines. By mid-August, the camp corridors echoed with coughing fits. A scorching fever spread. Men collapsed on straw-stuffed stretchers, eyes glazed as sweat drenched their faces. One worker writhed beneath a torn tent flap, blood-tinged vomit on the crude bedding. A priest arrived clutching rosary beads and an oil lamp, only to find fevered hands too weak to clasp in prayer. Within days, every man was dead. 57 bodies lay unmourned, uncounted save in one ledger entry, died of cholera. That dusk, lanterns bobbed through the underbrush as overseers shoved the corpses into a hastily dug trench. Shovels scraped earth in silence, each thud a reminder that panic was as contagious as disease. No mourners, no headstones. The trench was hidden beneath ferns, and fear, a wound in the landscape as crimson as any bloodshed. For decades, the cut slept beneath moss and leaf litter. Locals spoke of ghost lights drifting along the abandoned rails, pale orbs that bobbed like lanterns in the pitch-black woods. Some swore they heard the ring of pickaxes at midnight, though no living soul labored at the track. A phantom train's hiss haunted the valley, its spectral whistle mournful and hollow. In the late 1970s, a pair of brothers, Frank and William Watson, unearthed the Pennsylvania Railroad's locked vaults. Among yellowed registers and brittle correspondence lay a single column, 57 names crossed out with perfunctory finality. Intrigued, they traced the ledger to a dim corner of Derry Township, where the cut lay forgotten beneath chestnut and pine. In 2004, Immaculata University mounted an excavation. Modern floodlights cleave through the pre-dawn mist, revealing a wide trench brimming with skeletal remains. Teams in waterproof jackets and headlamps crouched in the clay, brushing earth from skulls and femurs as handheld GPS units recorded each fragment's coordinates. Canvas marquees blocked the rain, orange flags marked the perimeter, science staking its claim on centuries of silence. Forensic anthropologists took the bones back to the lab and ran CT scans. On glowing monitors, jagged lines traced across brittle crania, blunt force fractures in places unreachable by cholera's ravages. One skull bore a small round hole that might have been a bullet wound. Analysts traced shock patterns through the bone, evidence that these men did not simply die of disease, they were struck down. The pure data collided with the haunting folklore. Had a panic-stricken mob stormed the camp, thinking violence was mercy? Or did bigotry drive neighbors to slaughter desperate laborers rather than nurse them through an epidemic? The logs offered no confession. No trial followed. the railroad's ledger remained silent on motive or culprit. Yet their names return to the world. A state historical marker now stands at the site. Every July, wreaths of shamrocks and sprigs of heather lay at the foot of a simple monument. Candles flicker beside pennies tossed in tribute. Small clink against stone that echoes for the long dead. At dusk, visitors still speak of lantern glows weaving through the hemlocks. Some hear distant footsteps on the rails. Others glimpse pale silhouettes leaning on pickaxes, watching the living with hollow eyes. Ghosts or guilt made flesh, they wander the cut, a testament to lives that mattered, even when history tried to bury them. Between mist and memory, the story remains unfinished. We know their names: Michael Quinn, Patrick Dolan, Owen Mahoney. We know their deaths were anything but ordinary, yet the forest holds its secrets close, refusing easy answers. In the hush between cedar and chestnut, their voices stretch across time, asking to be heard, refusing to stay in the dark. They came for work, for survival, but in the cut they found no sanctuary, only silence, secrecy, and shadows that refuse to fade. And so their tale wanders these woods still, woven into the mist, carried on the whistle of a ghost train, and etched forever in the bones that science unearthed. In remembering them, we break the graves' hush and let their names echo once more in the dawn's pale light.